All right, welcome back. This is Raghu Banda, and today in this unit, the last concluding unit from the week 4, as part of the embedded predictive and machine learning scenarios that we are discussing, I would like to briefly highlight what is the road ahead, and kind of give a concluding remark to this week 4. So let us now continue further. So in this session, I would like to first, before going into the conclusion, I want to kind of bring up with a statement made by Dr. Stephen Hawking in 2014. You know that Stephen Hawking is one of the greatest astrophysicists, and he was very much talking about the AI and how AI would impact humankind, and if not handled properly, how it can also disrupt or create a lot more problems for the humankind. So this statement is very important before I do the concluding remarks for the session that I've discussed so far in this week 4. So it is always very important that when we are working on this topic of AI, it could make a lot of things better for the humankind, but at the same way, if it is not leveraged or if it is not used in the right kind, there might be a lot of potential problems. And it is better that you focus on how you can make it better for the humankind, and then how to learn to avoid making risk. Let us now briefly get into the road ahead in the context of SAP's machine learning services or SAP's machine learning processes that we are been discussing in this whole week. Obviously, we have a few of these SAP S4HANA scenarios which are created for the S4HANA Intelligent Enterprise, these AI-enabled scenarios, but a lot more scenarios we are also developing, whether it is based on the different lines of businesses or the different industries. We also discussed about how the ISLM framework, or the key ingredient which is used in building, whether it is embedding these services, embedding this AI into S4, or building as a service that runs on SAP BTP, and how these are consumed. So there are a lot more embedded scenarios that are going to be available with the help of ISLM framework. And obviously, we did discuss briefly about the SAP AI business services that are already available, and this is now kind of getting integrated with the ISLM framework as well, so that it will be seamless for the end user when you develop an AI business service that is built outside of S4, running on SAP BTP, but how you can consume it with the help of the AI ISLM framework. And the other things that you could expect in future is the explainable machine learning related scenarios that we are working on. For example, you might have seen some scenarios where, for example, you would see that a prediction is made when a particular stock is being delivered. There is a delay because there is movement of this particular stock from one location to the other location, and we are trying to do some kind of predictions. That is one of the examples which I was talking about earlier, or which Andreas Welch talked about earlier, about stock in transit, right? In these kind of scenarios, you know that there are some predictions made, or in the other scenarios. We are also trying to now, with the explainable ML, it will give the end user or the data scientist or the business user much more details about what are the reasons behind this delay, and much more. So the machine learning scenarios that we are developing, where you get the predictions, it would also give much more reasoning behind this, why these particular scenarios are happening in this way, why the predictions are happening this way. And we are also obviously trying to integrate automation into these machine learning scenarios as well, so that the intelligent enterprise business processes work seamlessly. So with this, I would kind of conclude this session. And before I conclude the session, like always, I want to give some key takeaways, like what we do from each of these units. One is that one of the important key takeaway is that we are kind of coming up with a availability of a cloud appliance library image or a CAL image, which will have some out-of-the-box SAP S4HANA intelligent processes where you can try around. These CAL images will be running on your AWS platform or on your on SAP BTP, or it can also be hosted on Azure or other places. The second key takeaway is there are a lot of webinars in the SAP community, which you can learn a lot of things that are happening. Third is a continuous engagement through the podcast series. There is a podcast series which I'm also running. And in this podcast series, I'm getting a lot of experts who come and discuss about these different things, whether it is the embedded scenarios or the side-by-side scenarios which are developed on BTP. And then the fourth and most important thing is that we are also making some best practices package, which will help accumulate a lot more knowledge support so that you, the customers or the partners or the consultants, will be much more easier for you to implement this at your customer locations. Thank you, and thank you all. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and wherever you're tuning in from. Happy predicting the future with SAP technologies. Thank you.